Ever wondered how nomads from the steppes built the largest land empire in history? In the early 13th century, a tribal leader named Temujin, later known as Genghis Khan, united the Mongol clans. With speed, discipline, and ruthless strategy, the Mongol Empire expanded from the plains of Mongolia to the heart of Europe and Asia. Their armies moved faster than any force of their time, striking terror into kingdoms. What began as scattered tribes became a force that reshaped the world. The Mongols proved that the strength of unity and vision could conquer continents. Their rise was the spark of a storm that changed history forever. Did you know Genghis Khan started as an outcast? Born into hardship, he was abandoned by allies and forced to survive on the edge of starvation. Yet he transformed his misfortune into power, forging loyalty through merit rather than birth. By uniting rival tribes, he became the greatest conqueror in history. Genghis Khan's leadership was unmatched. He rewarded loyalty, punished betrayal, and demanded discipline. His story shows that greatness often rises from struggle. From exile to emperor, he became the world shaker, whose name still echoes across history. His journey proves that resilience can forge emperors out of the broken. What if speed was the ultimate weapon? The Mongols built their empire on the backs of horses. Each warrior rode with precision, carrying multiple mounts to travel hundreds of miles without rest. Their archers could shoot accurately while galloping at full speed, overwhelming slower enemies. Horses gave them endurance, mobility, and shock power, unmatched by any army. This mastery of cavalry turned the Mongols into an unstoppable storm. The empire of the steppe proved that agility could defeat size, and speed could conquer even the strongest fortresses. The hoofbeats of their armies thundered louder than kings' commands. Did you know fear was one of the Mongols' greatest weapons? Genghis Khan understood that terror could break enemies before battle even began. Cities that resisted were destroyed completely, while those that surrendered were often spared. This reputation spread quickly, causing many towns to open their gates without a fight. By mastering psychological warfare, the Mongols reduced resistance and expanded faster. Fear was not cruelty for its own sake, it was strategy. Their shadow stretched so wide that kingdoms surrendered at the mere rumor of Mongol armies. Fear itself became their greatest army. Ever thought nomads lacked order? The Mongols shattered that myth by creating a disciplined military machine. Their army was organized into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, each loyal to their commanders. Orders flowed clearly, and disobedience was punished swiftly. Unlike many medieval armies, the Mongols valued skill over noble birth. Even humble soldiers could rise through merit. This strict organization gave them strength, far beyond their numbers. The empire was not just born from force, it was built on discipline and loyalty. Their system turned chaos into an unstoppable machine of conquest. What if an empire stretched from the Pacific to the Mediterranean? At its height, the Mongol Empire covered more than 22% of the world's landmass. They conquered China, Persia, the Middle East, and parts of Eastern Europe. Their banners flew from Korea to Hungary. This vast expansion was unmatched in history. The Mongols did not just conquer lands, they connected them. For the first time, Asia and Europe were linked under one rule. This empire became the backbone of a new global network of trade, ideas, and culture. Their empire was the first true highway of civilization. Did you know the Mongols created an age of peace? Despite their reputation for destruction, once lands were conquered, the empire established the Pax Mongolica, the Mongol peace. Roads were secured, trade routes reopened, and merchants could travel safely across continents. The Silk Road flourished, carrying goods, technologies, and ideas. From paper and gunpowder to art and medicine, knowledge spread between East and West. The Mongols proved that even conquerors could become builders. Their peace turned the largest empire into history's greatest crossroad of civilizations. It was a peace forged by war, but remembered for progress. What if conquerors protected religions instead of destroying them? The Mongols, unlike many empires, practiced religious tolerance. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, and others were allowed to worship freely. They valued loyalty more than faith. Administrators from conquered lands were recruited into the empire, helping manage its diversity. This policy of tolerance made it easier to govern vast territories. The Mongols showed that empires thrive not by forcing sameness, but by allowing many cultures to coexist. Their pragmatism turned diversity into strength, not weakness. Their empire became a mosaic of peoples under one rule. Did you know the Mongols ruled China as the Yuan dynasty? Under Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson, the Mongols completed the conquest of China. Kublai moved the capital to Beijing and built a dynasty that blended Mongol strength with Chinese traditions. He welcomed foreign travelers like Marco Polo, whose writings introduced China to Europe. The Mongols transformed China's economy, promoted trade, and supported culture. Though their dynasty eventually fell, their legacy reshaped Chinese history. Kublai Khan proved that Mongol rule was not only destructive, it was also deeply transformative. His empire became a meeting point of East and West. Ever wondered why the Mongols did not conquer all of Europe? Despite victories in Poland and Hungary, their advance westward stopped. Harsh climates, stretched supply lines, and the death of Great Khan Ogedei forced their retreat. Europe was spared, but the fear of Mongols lingered for centuries. Their campaigns revealed both their power and their limits. Even the greatest empire cannot conquer everything, yet their shadow remained, a reminder that nomads from the steppes had shaken the world to its core. Their retreat was not defeat, but a pause written by destiny. What happens when an empire too vast begins to break apart? After Genghis Khan's death, the Mongol Empire split into four major khanates: the Yuan dynasty in China, the Ilkhanate in Persia, the Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, and the Golden Horde in Russia. Though still powerful, these khanates eventually weakened through internal rivalries, assimilation, and outside pressures. The empire that once united continents fractured into pieces. Yet even in decline, Mongol influence shaped regions for centuries. Their fall was the end of unity, but not the end of their legacy. The echoes of their thunder still shaped kingdoms long after. Did you know the Mongols left a mark still felt today? They reshaped maps, trade routes, and cultures. Their empire showed the power of mobility, discipline, and vision. Though feared as destroyers, they also became bridges between civilizations. Their empire inspired both terror and admiration, and their story remains one of the most dramatic chapters in history. From the ashes of nomadic camps, they built a power that touched the world. The Mongol legacy reminds us that even the most unlikely people can rise to change human destiny forever. Their story is proof that history's greatest revolutions can come from the humblest of beginnings. What if the Mongols were the first to create globalization? Their empire connected Europe, the Middle East, and Asia under one vast system of roads and trade routes. Caravans crossed deserts, ships sailed Mongol-protected seas, and knowledge flowed faster than ever before. Mathematics from the Arabs, medicine from the Persians, and technologies from China all spread across borders. Even the Black Death traveled along these routes, proving how connected the world had become. The Mongols unintentionally created the framework of a global world centuries before the modern age. Their empire was not just conquest, it was connection. What if one man's name became larger than time itself? Genghis Khan died in 1227, but his memory outlived empires. For some, he remains a destroyer who burned cities to ash. For others, he is a unifier who turned scattered tribes into history's greatest force. Monuments, legends, and even DNA across Eurasia testify to his enduring presence. His empire may have fallen, but his spirit rides on through history's pages. The Mongols proved that empires fade, but vision and leadership can achieve immortality, echoing forever in the story of humankind. What if the winds of the Mongolian steppe still carry whispers of conquest? Though the empire crumbled centuries ago, its memory endures in the vast plains where it was born. Every gallop of a horse across those steppes recalls the thunder of Mongol armies. Every story of trade and connection bears their imprint. The Mongols showed that even nomads with no cities or walls could change the world forever. Their rise was not just history, it became legend, echoing endlessly across the steppes of time.